Can you explain what internet is?
Something entirely new.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Something that the world hasn't seen.
It's cheaper than a fax.
It's not television.
And much faster than a letter.
It's not radio.
Was able to transfer data instantly to any other computer in the world.
It's not newspapers.
Every business, no matter how large, and no matter how small, will be on the internet.
But it has elements of every single one of those.
It's the primary way that people will look up information.
50 years ago, people cannot imagine life with the internet.
When Carol Phillips wants to know what's going on in her community, she takes a walk to the computer in her family room.
Distance doesn't matter on the internet.
Scientists can share knowledge with another scientist at lightning speed.
Some estimate that there will be 1 billion people hooked up by the year 2000.
By the mid-2000s, smartphones exploded into the marketplace.
People is about 1/6 of the world's population.
1.8 million social media followers.
So it's probably wise to be a little bit skeptical.
Almost a third more than the year before.
After all, exponential growth doesn't go on forever.
Now, people can't imagine life without the internet until it became an issue.
During lockdown, people were increasingly forced to rely on the internet.
I'm afraid that if I subscribe to something like internet,
connecting with friends is something that everyone needs to do.
I would get hooked.
Reviews,
12 hours a day.
social media posts,
And I would never.
And Facebook lets people in all different demographics all over the world
and influencers
Spend time with my family.
choice.
more choice.
On the internet, people can send you messages all the time.
Because it's going to be interactive than ever.
Maybe you don't even want to hear from.
You've got mail.
Constant bombardment.
You've got,
Well, it's very hip.
Including TV.
you've got,
A new medium.
And lower
you've
price.
got mail.
I don't want more.
And there I started my 72 hours of internet detox. You don't know why you exist. Neither do I. Alright. That did not happen. Finally. Alright guys, just a disclaimer here first. This video is not about how to change your bad habits. This is just a very fun, very interesting tutorial. It's a very fun and interesting experimental style video that I did. It all goes back to when I started doing my quarantine back then. So that's 21 days, full 21 days. That's no joke. Every day when I wake up, I literally just open my computer and type in YouTube or whatever I want to see, and that's it. It kind of feels like I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my life away at doing, watching stuff, but I cannot control myself. Before I knew it, I've already fell into this trap. This addiction that caused me to watch one video after another and watch one drama after the other. And so I decided to find out the why behind all these addictions. I concluded that into 3 main reasons. Number 1, obviously I'm bored. I'm locked inside a room 21 days. And I've got a phone, I've got my computer, and I've got the internet. What do you expect me to do? Like, this is 21st century, guys. And it comes down to my second reason, which is a bit more deep, which is stress. So when people are stressed, when humans are stressed, basically they want to find distractions. I'm in a total new city. I don't know it at all, and once I was in this city, I had to go quarantine for like 21 days, and after 21 days I had to go to that school, and without knowing how that school looks like and how that workplace, how the people would be like, so that caused me a lot of stress. So I kind of just wanted to be distracted. Once I stopped being distracted, my mind would automatically go back to, oh my gosh, my anxiety, you know. I just don't want to face it.
MSG, why you don't use MSG? You already messed up. That beef so thick.
The final reason is it made it rewarding. In the 1970s, a Stanford professor named Walter Mitchell conducted the first ever marshmallow experiment, which later became one of the most known experiments in the social science research. Some children of age 4 to 5 were each seated in a private room, in front of a table and a small reward. They were told that if they waited for 15 minutes, they would be rewarded with a second one. And for another 40 years, researchers continued to track the children and found out that the ones who chose to delay gratification tend to score a higher score in the SAT, having lower levels of substance abuse, were less likely to become obese, coped better with stress, and having better social skills. In other words, people who choose to delay gratification are more likely to be so-called successful or have a better outcome in life. And about my childhood, I didn't really have self-control. I had zero self-control. I didn't really understand delaying the reward will get me something bigger in return. And so I always had fun and do my homework at night, like the opposite of what you should do, what parents expect you to do, a pattern that I want to change. Even till this day, I just often will fall into this internet binge trap a lot more. YouTube is designed for people to watch a video after another and non-stop. So here comes the exciting part. So what actually happened in the process? I turned off all the notifications. I had to leave the internet turned on for my phone because I have a very important message I need to follow up, but I didn't really use the phone. So as all of you can imagine, the first day is always the hardest. My mind kept shifting to look for my computer, to look for YouTube, to look for that drama episode that I haven't finished yet. That was intense. I knew I was addicted to watching YouTube videos and the internet and all, but not until when I cut them off, I realized the shit is real. And I think around the same day something happened, because I have to check the message from that job related thing, right? And then I opened that app and I saw that message from a friend. I didn't know what that was. I mean, I had a little peek. What's going on? What's the thing? Like, what did that person test on me? So that was crazy, that urge. Now I am noticing that I have some attention shifting problem. I don't like to call that a problem, but you know, this tendency to shift my concentration around, which sometimes can be annoying and distracting because it is. And I have this habit of watching one YouTube video and at the same time I open another tab up there and type YouTube again, and I will start to search for another video. Not entirely focusing on one video at a time, which is the habit of distraction, I guess. And then your brain kind of gets very used to distracting yourself and in finding new stuff to do all the time. Now I think back, I do notice that when I was doing something, I would then think about the other stuff. I would be like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to ask this person, and then I would go on my phone or I could go on another website to do that and search for that, and then I kind of like shift around rather than finishing one thing, really concentrating on it first. I think that's one thing that I want to change, kind of. I was reading this Atomic Habits, this book on Kindle, and then I was really motivated to get my habits, on track. So I started my little habit tracking booklet. When I started to write it, I couldn't. I just couldn't think of anything. So a little bit of background. Me, myself, I would call myself a perfectionist sometimes. Even I buy stuff online, I need to make sure I do my research. I need to make sure I buy the best products for myself. And the same thing kind of happened when I wanted to write my habit tracker. I wanted to get my computer out or phone out to search on Google or YouTube habit tracker. That's what I would do when I had the internet. That's the thing about, the internet, right? It could be very creative, it could be very innovative, very inspiring. But at times, when you want to do something original, you start to doubt yourself and you want to search for others, people's work. It kind of became a habit for me to imitate other people's creativity, which is kind of the last thing I want to do. It's also a moment that I realized I was depending on the internet more than I thought. I think after I cut down the internet, I had less anxiety, because it really forced me to face my anxiety. The more I think about it, I start to realize they're just things that I overthink. They are just things that's not too much of a big deal. My mind started to focus a little bit more. I was able to read without my mind shifting to YouTube, my mind shifting to another video that I want to watch. I try to read even before I go to bed. I think it kind of helped me to go to bed as well, because especially when you're not moving a lot in the room, I find it very hard to fall asleep because I still have so much energy inside. I think the greatest thing about going without the internet is to really truly having to have time with yourself and know how your mind works, what you're thinking, how you're like. Guys, I was looking at the window. Such a nice view, isn't it? And it's interesting. I don't know, it's weird. I find myself enjoying watching the city's view, like what everybody's doing, and kind of just observe, just being an observer makes me so calm. But at the same time, I do realize that I have this habit of shifting my mind around, so I think about different things. So, for example, when I look at the street, even if that's just some people crossing the street or something, my focus will shift instantly. Not instantly, but unintentionally. Actually, I sort of know that because I have this habit of, shifting my attention. But it's more obvious now that I'm going without any digital stuff, without my computer, without my phone. I mean, I'm filming with my phone, but without any, Wi-Fi's and internet. And the best thing for me, going without the internet, is time slows down. Like, it's funny how people talk about how time flies and how they don't want time to go by so quickly. But they don't know the internet, the distraction is taking away the time. And I realized that you could use that time to do so much more productive stuff, such as, reading. And I've been reading 2 books. One is, I think, The Art of Storytelling and Atomic Habits. And these 2 books really changed how I viewed things in general. And I've started my own habit tracker, and also I've started to do my journaling about storytelling. I'm really glad that I did those 72 hours. It made me realize there's so much things that I could do instead of, wasting my time and watching videos or dramas that wouldn't help me. So, can I live without the internet? No. Well, it just means that I wouldn't go without the internet, because internet, we are living in this 21st century. Even when I go to work, I need to check my messages from my colleagues, and also I can't live without the internet. And my friends and families are staying in different cities than I am, so it's more and more convenient for me to contact them through the internet. The thing about internet, right, and YouTube, Instagram, whatever apps you're using, such an amazing invention. You can literally go to everywhere. Like, without traveling, you can see how's a city that's situated on the other side of the globe. You can literally see, you can meet people around the world. You can learn a lot of stuff, amazing, cool stuff. Again, internet is very good when it's a tool, but when it becomes an addiction, that's when you need to be careful.